Remember, we were talking about Ed the Ace McColloch and his criticisms and his quotes. Well, Gary Gerald has him.
Ace, we're talking a lot today about explosions. We've seen some graphic examples of some of the blow-ups that we've seen this season and in recent years. I know that you've kind of done a 180-degree turnaround from when we started racing to 1,000 feet. Tell us how you feel about these cars and whether or not they are currently safe.
Well, in my opinion, the cars today are probably safer than they've ever been. After the mishaps that we've had over the last, period of time, everybody has worked very hard to make the cars safe. And so, in my opinion, the racing today is closer, better, safer than it has been in a long time. The 1,000-foot, I was dead against 1,000-foot when it came out, but after running it, being on it, I don't want to go back to quarter mile. It gives the guys another, 320 feet to get stopped. The racing's closer. The cars run good. And as far as the explosions go, we run nitromethane. That's the culprit in what we do. Now, you can go back as far as you want to go back, and you guys have got the tape when I used to drive these cars. We had as big of explosions back then, with a 20-gallon fuel pump as we have today. So in my opinion, the fuel pump deal is the wrong way to go.
Do you think that drivers complain too frequently about what is here? And do you believe that NHRA, in doing these studies and trying to slow the cars down, is on the right track?
Well, I'm all for keeping the cars safe. The thing that I'm not for is we're trying to fix something that's not broke. I think that our crowds, we have good crowds. I think that people enjoy what we do. They come out, they watch. I think it's really good. The cars that blow up are the cars that blow up. You look back, anything can happen. What happened to Jim Head was a freak deal. You break something in the valve train or in the gear drive, it's going to blow up. But for the most part, the guys that blow up a lot are the guys that blow up.
You mentioned in a recently printed article about Tony and Cruz Pedregon, and I think the term was used, crybabies. Is that in fact in your mind, and do you think they need to step away?
Well, my point that I was trying to make in that part is Tony, he got on the campaign about how unsafe these cars are. And he made the statement on the air more than once that he faces death when he gets in this car. My point to Tony was, if in fact he feels that he's facing death when he gets in that car, don't get in it, Tony.
Thank you.
What do you think, Mike?
You got to love Ed the Ace McColloch, whether you agree with him or disagree with his points. He will tell you exactly what he believes, and you know where he stands all the time. That's what I love about the man.
No question about that one. Well, as you saw and now Dave Reef is caught up with Tony Pedregon. Remember that argument with Ace?
Tony Pedregon's 2008 explosion in Pomona, Paul, is probably one of the biggest ever that got the most media attention, not just stateside, but worldwide. And Tony, put me back in the cockpit. Put me in the seat. What are you feeling? What are you thinking when a car explodes so violently?
Well, the fact is, it's the nature of this sport to some degree. As a driver, it's a scary situation when it does explode. There are times that it'll give you some indication that the motor is only running on 7 cylinders, maybe 6 cylinders, and we have to make that split-second decision whether to keep our foot in it or take our foot out of the throttle. But there are times that we have no choice. Parts failure, the cars just blow up. At that point, you're just hanging on for dear life. Everything is a conditioned response. You're hoping that you can slow the car down, scrub off speed. You don't want to put fans in harm's way. You don't want to run into your competitors. So it's just one of those things that experience is a big asset.
You've said on our air you'd like to see the NHRA slow the cars down. Ed the Ace McColloch took note of that and in a Competition Plus article called you and Cruz crybabies a little bit for saying those things. Do you feel like a crybaby?
Well, I've been called worse than that. And, I've got a lot of respect for Ed McColloch. But the order of the day, in my opinion, should be safety. It should be cost containment. My perspective is going to be a little different. I walk into a boardroom of big companies. I don't think Ed McColloch does that. So, of course, I'm going to have a different agenda. And I do believe that everyone is entitled to their opinion. We don't have to agree on everything. And I think something that Ed McColloch is probably failing to realize, it's not just Tony Pedregon. It's not just Cruz Pedregon. We do this for a living. We're going to continue to do it. We may have a different agenda than a crew chief. Owners, crew chiefs, fans, NHRA, I think it's all part of the process, so I don't take offense to Ed's opinion. I'm going to listen to it. I'm not going to call him names because I have too much respect for him, but in the end, I think everyone's opinion matters. The end result should be something that's better, a better product, a safer product for everybody, not just for the owners and drivers and crew chiefs.
Simply put, though, do you feel like you face death when you get in this race car?
When it blows up, there are times that I've feared for my life, but when everything does what it's supposed to, I don't fear for my life. I'm going to continue to get in the car. I just want to feel a little bit safer when I do it.
Well, there you have it. Both sides of the issue.